Well, I'm continuing with this series of textures. Here's a couple more I've already done, and I'm going to put one of them onto the end of this film, tag it on, with the one I'm showing you here, this very dark one. It's another Scottish Loch scene, but this time a portrait or a vertical one. And I'm also moving on to another newer version here, where I'm actually going into even more pasta, and I'm actually using spaghetti here now. We've got the filler here, rice here, and then spaghetti coming through here because I wanted dried grasses and reeds in this marsh scene. So now you can see how I've been using this spaghetti broken down and stuck on with the glue again to give the effects of grasses in between the bunches of broken reed stems and mud and so on the marsh. And we're going to paint in reverse. We'll do the lights first, paint the darks over the top on that one, whereas here it's going to be darks first and then lights for the sky. So leading on from these then, which have now been resined and have that lovely glossy look. Look at the textures a bit more before we work into these new ones, just to remind you of what we've been doing and how lovely these effects are, especially with the resin bringing the colours out. Right, well let's make a start on this nice big dark one then. It's going to be another one of the Loch scenes in Scotland. See, the texture's already done. I've got all the black on, ready to go. Start with the lightest colour, as I told you. Take some white. Make it fairly thick for this. And it's a cool cream. I'm going to take some lemon yellow. I want to cover the board at the moment. I'm not leaving dark texture behind at all at the moment. I'm going to add a bit more white later. I know where things are going a bit mad. Already we've got some subtle shades happening in there. I'm going to take some white and just feel around these areas for some light to be coming through this effect of the clouds. I need to actually get some of that light happening down here as well. It's happening straight down through here. So I've got to get right down into this because I'm going to be making these top bits a lot darker later again. Sort of work down. I've got to go into the reverse, in other words, of these at the moment. I need a blue-grey, so we'll take some cerulean and a bit of white to lighten it up. Beautiful colours that we can pull out. I like playing with the computer with this sort of work because we find colours that we wouldn't normally have seen so easily. I'm going to go a bit mauve. I'm going to take some alizarin. Just test it out on here. I'm going to be exact. I'm not trying to reproduce anything here, as you can well see. It's very abstract. You need some much deeper purple. We go a bit stronger with the blue still. You can really start to play with these much stronger colours now. We're sort of in between the figurative and the abstract. We're abstracting into things. And the light suddenly vanished from the room. The sun's gone. Makes a little difference when you're painting and it suddenly goes like that. Absolutely disappeared on me. There, that'll do for the sky for the moment. Just want to pick up on the blues there just a little bit. And behind here, I'm going to hit with a very deep purple first of all. Let the black just glow through it, because this purple is going to sink anyway. I do want to get a nice rich glow going on. Don't leave too much dark showing through there. Work up these colours first and then we'll come back and work over them again. Right, on we go then. Carry on working these beautiful blues down through here. I've got to use them quite heavily at the moment because I'm going to come across with these darks again later. So I get right into here, down and through. So I'm going to work backwards and forwards with the lights into the darks and then the darks back over the lights again a bit later. At the moment it's just picking up these lovely reflecting colours that deep into here. Really deep blues and purples that are coming down into these dark areas. It really brings out these textures, which is what we're trying to do at the moment. Not easy when it's so textural, and of course I've got to work fairly low down here as well because it's a different scale of painting. The painting is on a landscape rather than painting on a portrait rather than a landscape. It's surprising how even within a matter of minutes we start to get a lovely atmosphere to it. Let's come back with these blues in a minute, these creams in a minute, and work up some of the lighter colours. Coming on down here. Turquoise a bit more now, because it's for the sky. So we want now some of the white, some of the turquoise. Just see what's going to hit, just parts of it. Down here for instance. And I want a bit more pink going on in the background, so I'm going to quite deliberately add some reds across here just a bit, just to make that glow a bit more in the background there. And that sort of half light of the evening that this sort of time of the evening or day has. So I'm trying to get here. Right, so let that dry, then I'm going to come back with a bit of cream again and some of the lighter blues. It's got to get in between these bits of texture. I've got to go over these again with darks in a moment, so I've got to try and get in between these at the moment and just bring out these ripples of light across. If I can get them going through here and across. The effect of gentle waves going back into here. So it's beautiful how quickly this painting. Right, I'm now just working across some of these darks back over the textures again to bring them back a little bit here. And I need to go to much warmer as well, so take some burnt sienna now and we'll just start to add some of this weed in with that across the very surfaces. Some nice warms across here to really bring out these effects of the weeds. Into the purple back there. A little bit of yellow ochre as well, I think we'll do that, and just catch some of these surfaces in the foreground with a fraction warmer still. We have to come back with a bit more cream here and there yet too, because they're not quite happy with the lights getting these very light areas. It's almost there. I'll pipe back to the cream, and I'm hoping that this cream is now going to finish it off. It's just a matter of composition and just working out where a few light strokes are needed to balance the whole thing out, really. And I don't think I can do a lot more with that one, not really. And a little bit closer look at the textures as well. And this is what I think is so glorious when we get down to these sorts of beautiful textures that we can get right up and through. Right, I finished that last big one, and I'm going to go straight on to, that was the big tud of purple blue one of the Scottish Loch. I'm going to this one of the marshes here now, a sunrise here with the marshes where we use the spaghetti and stuff. And I'm going to have to work backwards and forwards. I'm going to have to work the lights in and then the darks over the top and then the darks and the lights and so on. So I'm going to start off with my really bright oranges and yellows into the background here and then work the darks over the top of that afterwards. Right, really start pushing these colours, the purples and violets down here. Plenty of water at the moment just to get it in there. Right, so we can leave that now to dry off and we'll actually be able to start on the... Well, I've got to put some oranges in up here as well. That's important. This lovely opera rose, we'll whack that in here as well because I really want to get these bright colours in amongst this lot. The sun really gleaming through. Between this very bright orange and the opera rose we should get that effect. Put black right the way across this lot now and work some purple over that later. I need to get a good dark foundation to the whole of this bit before I work any more colour, blues and purples over it. As I work these over. I'm going to work some other purples over this later as well. So I'll just start to drag across the darks over some of this too to the effect of the brushes and reeds. And I can still put more colour over, yes, I'm going to put a bit more blue back into the background around here just to give the effect of water reflecting there. And in the meantime, stick some of this black. Just show you what's going to happen when we go across these textures that I put on there, the spaghetti and stuff, to give the effects of these grasses, which should be dry enough to take this now. Let's see if it is. You can see these lovely effects we can get just going over these textures. I'm going to put a bit more colour over them as well later. But I've got to come back now and put more blue over the blacks, but I've got to let those blacks dry a bit first. Well, I've now overlaid some more of the pinks and warms across this to make the blacks go back a bit and to bring out some more colour across, forward of the blacks in fact. So anyway, now it's time to start working onto the sky, and with a whole plethora of beautiful colours going on up here, from the very turquoise greens to blues. I'm going to start again by using the lighter colours to take some of my turquoise first of all. Just place some of that into the sky. I'm going to have to find my way with these various blues. It's going to take a bit of time, but it's going to be fun. Look at all this lovely texture there that I've already recreated, based around the clouds, not copying the clouds, just based around them. Plenty of this light colour first of all, this turquoise cerulean blue. Now that comes down to about there, and it's much lighter, so I'll take some white and just mix it on the board itself, right up through here. Oh, it's great fun putting these colours on, these lovely vibrant colours, and working this size as well is so lovely. You know, you can get right into it with your brush, you can really become a part of the painting. The purple pinks in a moment. I'm going to have to work it up in layers. I'm going to get rid of the white first of all and then work colours over the top. I just need to find my way with it because there are so many colours here. I've got to compare one to another. The more of these colours I put on, you'll find it, I think, quite interesting to watch how one colour affects another and how what you thought was just going to be a purple or a pink will actually start to change value as I put the other colours next to it. It's a bit more subtle than this, but I'm just mapping out at the moment some of these colours just to find out what's what and differences in warms and cools. you just begin to see the colours coming. I haven't put the warms on yet. Right, we need to start working on the lighter colours now. Start to build up these pinks, yellows. So I'm going to take some white again, add some magenta, and a bit of golden yellow. Let's just start on some of these lovely golds that are happening in the sunset here, so sunrise here. I'm going to use the texture of the board to be able to scumble across it a bit and just bring these colours out and through and across. It's kind of a nice way to work. So we're getting the effect of the cloud by the texture that we've got. I'm going to work backwards and forwards with this, using this technique of reflecting these colours in the clouds. I'm going to come back over a lot of this yet. Just want to get rid of this white board at the moment. It's even for trees if you like. But as I say, I just want to use any old colour at the moment just to get rid of white board and see what I'm doing. And then we'll leave it for the night to a better light. And I'll be able to pick up on this tomorrow. So by building up and building up bit by bit by bit, we can get these beautiful tones and textures. I want to go back to the cools a bit and bring some of the cools back a bit now, because we've got so many warms. I'll just do a bit more of the yellow first. Even these slight subtle colours of purples here now that will make the reds warmer. Bit of the bright green coming in. Right, now I'm going to go back to those blues I was promising just now, the turquoises and blues, and just lighten those up a bit. And there we are, I think. I'll sit and think at that one, because I think that's about it. But again, the glory of all of these beautiful textures that we can get with this way of working, as you see here. Now we're going to then go back to this one, the one we did only yesterday of the poppies, and I'm going on from that in fact to do a sister to it, but this time I'm going to reverse the colours completely, and I've not built up with tissue this time. I've actually built up the flowers with the filler and used the peas and the rice the same and the wool, but instead of using tissue for the flowers I've used the filler because I don't want them particularly raised this time. Completely different colour scheme. The reds have become greens and everything will become the opposites. So it should be quite fun for you to watch this one being painted. So what I'm going to do actually is the reverse of what I've just been saying. I'm going to put the light along the front here first, the yellow, and then put the darks over the top onto these textural surfaces, and the darks over the back so it can glow through when I put the light over the top of that afterwards. So I'm going to start with my top edge here and work some really light golden yellows up into that. So I'm going to bring some warms over later. Leave it at that. I don't think I'm going to do much more on that. I'm going to finish off these last strokes that can make or break it. Bring out the lights, put the lights against the darks. We've got to have the darks really dark to do that, to make them work. So it's hard to know when to stop and when it's just right. I think it's time to leave things alone there at that. Let's take a look at the texture again, see what we've got. Right into it. Again, the colours are sinking a bit, but this gives you an idea of this glorious way to work. Well, we completed that last one, the sunset. Now I want to go on to another one of the poppy ones, but in this case we're going to work on a square one. We've got a portrait, we've got a landscape, now we're going to have a square, and I'm going to make a much more brooding sky. I'm going to use the tissue paper, not just for the poppies this time, but also for the tree. I'm going to put some texture over the tree afterwards. We keep experimenting, we keep exploring, we keep changing ways as we go along. And then you can just take the paper and dip it in and lay it on and scrunch it up into these flower shapes. I'll put one inside another, try and get this feeling of poppies. Next thing is to be doing the sky, and I want to get lovely texturing going on, so I'm going to put quite a thin layer on my hands first and build these clouds around. I know where the shapes are. Nice big strokes, as if I was doing it with a brush almost. Great fun. It looks ever so crude at first, but once you actually see the finished effects, you see you can refine it quite a lot. You've got the choice as all of this to go as fine as you want. Higher bits of grasses. Next we're going into the sky again, and we want to start working up all of these lovely areas of cloud, swirling them round and getting these effects that we want for. Just rake up as being rougher at the edges, like this. Just pull up the material at the edges to give a rougher edge. Fork. Let's come into here and we'll drag this through. That's about as much as I can do for the moment before I add on bits of wood and seed at the top. So we've now put all the texturing on. You can see I've also put on some spaghetti, some heavy spaghetti here, as well as the peas and the rice. I'm just drying it out. I'm going to use some yellow acrylic now to give this a base, and then put the red acrylic over that later with a nice bright orange. a bit of raw sienna now. Well, the priming of this one's now done and ready, so I've just put it up on the easel, ready to paint the first coats over. Usually I go for the sky first and then we'll work our way down the poppies. Well, another one bites the dust, and I'm quite pleased with this one. We've got some nice bands of colour going on. I'm learning a bit more about these textures and colours as I'm working this, and it was nice to work with the rollers again as well. Let's take a closer look at it then.